So now you're full-time in property. Is life easier now or harder now?
I'd say it's a bit of both, to be honest.
How many units do you currently have under your management or control?
43 rooms under control at the moment.
So you're getting about, what, 5.5 grand for the whole property?
Yeah, that's the turnover.
Have you had to evict anybody yet?
He was like drinking bottles of vodka at like 10 o'clock in the morning.
How much money did you have when you started out?
Nothing.
What is it that drives you and gets you out of bed in the morning?
I'm just afraid of being average, to be honest. I don't want to be average, don't want to live an average life. I think it's boring.
Thanks so much for coming down on Winners on a Wednesday.
Oh, thank you for having us.
We're really proud of you guys. You've absolutely crushed it. And I wanted to really talk about the nitty gritty of getting on the phone, securing deals, managing tenants, how you're doing it, the contracts you're using, and hopefully we'll be able to get not only inspiration, but some really practical nuggets of what you've achieved. So why don't you start by just giving us a bit of a lowdown? How did you guys meet and how did you get into property in the first place?
When we first met, we were 13 in school. Both of us, we weren't academic whatsoever. Like, we couldn't really concentrate within school. I think we both kind of knew that there was more to life than academia. So yeah, we always knew that we wanted to get on something a bit bigger. So once we'd met at school, we obviously carried on being friends throughout the years. And then, yeah, we tried multiple different strategies to try and make money.
Hustling.
Yeah, pretty much. We went down the ecom route, crypto, we're still obviously in crypto and stuff. And then we basically come across
property, yeah. I believe the way I found you is I was watching your podcast with Andrew Tate.
Okay.
I was watching that, and then you was obviously just throwing diamonds about property, and then you just released your book as well. So
we argued about property a little bit as well, didn't we? We were like arguing a bit about it.
Back and forth about it, and then...
But he's obviously, he knows a lot about business and investments, and we were on the same sort of page.
But obviously your property through and through, so you're 100% going to back that.
Yeah.
And then I ordered your book, your autobiography, and I was just overwhelmed with the amount of information and knowledge that was actually in that. And then decided to book the £1 course. And then we all know what happens at the £1 course.
You learn shitloads, mind gets blown.
Yeah.
And you start jumping over tables.
Yeah. And then, so obviously come down, did the training, joined up to the academy, but then previous to that, me and Tom had already booked another £1 course in London.
Because he was ringing me up saying, I found it. We've got to do it. I've booked you on.
Oh, so you went first?
Yeah. Kyle went first. Rang me up, said, yeah, Tom, I found it. We've got to get on it. We've booked it on. We went to the Birmingham one. And then, and then literally just kind of...
How did you know when you started hearing about like property and the things you can do? What was it that just made it click?
It was the rent for me. And then it was... I can't remember what it was exactly, but you were saying something how you can rent out rooms, £500 a room, £500 a room. And there was ticking going on in my head. I was thinking, this has got to be it.
And you ran with that.
Yeah.
And interestingly, you're right, like you can rent a property, like your area is Leicester?
The Midlands, so Nottingham, Leicester and Coventry.
Sure, but you can rent a property for like £600-700.
Yeah.
And you're getting not far off that for a room.
Yeah.
It's like, interesting. Now, of course, there's legislation and we're going to get onto some of the nitty gritty. So you kind of got the business model. How long did it take you then to be able to leave your full-time jobs and go full-time in property?
We got the keys to our first one.
April.
Yeah, April. It was April. And then it's a great story actually. It was October that we did it. So we were both on holiday in Turkey, sipping cocktails on the sunbeds. And we needed basically 2 more HMOs to take us over to basically say, look, the business is safe and we can pay ourselves. And we got an email basically in Turkey after doing like we did a sales session and poolside and stuff, just ringing up agents, and we ended up getting 2 HMOs, sent the proposals over, they both got accepted. We were sitting there thinking, damn, like, it's it now, like, do you know what I mean? Like, so we literally drafted our resignations poolside, sent them off, come back on holiday and cracked on really. Yeah.
Wow. And what were you doing? What were your jobs?
This year, we've both kind of been through a fair few jobs. I started my professional career as a bricklayer. But then, as I joined the academy, I realised I had the skills in bricklaying and I needed other skills. So I thought I might as well go into a different industry. I went into sales, went into office supply sales, and I did that for about 3 to 4 months.
To be fair, that will have really given you a good foundation, because now you've got the construction stuff. Because a lot of construction people, I've noticed that a lot of construction people like brickies and that, they're almost sometimes a bit salty towards property investors and certainly like property entrepreneurs. It's what do you know? You can't build a house from scratch. And it's like, I don't have to be able to. You'll build it for me.
I'm paying you.
Yeah, and I'll make all the profit on top, But we're having that background in building, but then also sales. Because we know in business, sales is everything. So that's, I guess, even though at the time it was just a job, it was.
Well, like I say, I joined it for the reason to learn the skill, to be honest.
Okay.
So I learned the skill, took advantage of it, and then it elevated my game.
So do you know about refurbs now? Can you just look at a property now, even if it's a rent to rent, it just needs like 5-10 grand.
Yeah.
You know how much it's going to cost.
Yeah, so I can walk around, roughly just estimate what it's going to cost.
That's
so that
helpful.
isn't.
And again, that's stuff that you can learn on the academy and
Definitely,
that, but you can't beat having first-hand background in it. What about yourself? What was your background, Tom?
Well, I first started out as a personal trainer. So that was my first job in throughout work. Left there and then I went into recruitment, just doing engineering recruitment as well, obviously sales for about 3 years. And that's pretty much what took me up towards basically going financially free, really. I think recruitment's one of them jobs that, as well as obviously the sales aspect to it, that you've got to be 100% committed in. And I think when this obviously started like needing more attention within the business, and me and Kyle identifying that, this is our way that we are going to make it in life, really. Like, we've got to keep pushing it and give it 100%. I think because you've come from such a demanding job where it's completely being on the phone all the time, to then obviously going into this, I just couldn't give it 100%. So I literally, I think I got sacked from my last 2.
Okay.
Yeah. So just because I couldn't give enough attention really into the role. And I'm kind of glad I did.
So now you're full-time in property. Is life easier now or harder now?
I'd say it's a bit of both, to be honest. It's nice being your own boss. However, we have got a lot more responsibilities and day-to-day stuff we have to do. Don't get me wrong, some days are quieter than others, but then some days it's just 100 miles an hour. So
it's like a different kind of stress.
Yeah. It's like you're not doing a 9 to 5. You go in whenever, really.
And you're building something for yourself.
Exactly. So it's all for us at the end of the day. So you kind of don't mind it. I mean, like the other day, we had to drive 40 minutes to Coventry to go and move a new tenant into HMO at 11 o'clock at night. So it's like little stuff like that you wouldn't normally have to do.
Do you have any staff yet?
We've got cleaners.
You haven't got any full-time staff?
No.
Will you at some point?
Oh, that's on the
Because I reckon you could probably, within one good member of staff, could probably free you up so much on all the day-to-day.
Without a doubt. So funny you say that. We've put adverts out for like sales executives and stuff like that.
Okay.
To obviously cover different patches for us as well. So we can kind of take a little bit of a step back from that and we can focus on the next side of our business.
Yeah. How many units do you currently have under your management or control?
So we've got 43 rooms under control at the moment.
And you're in a similar area to Samuel Johnson. And it's funny because you said to me, my goal is to just overtake Samuel. I need to overtake. I thought you were talking about me. Yeah. Right. So I was like, okay, I'll cheer you on. We can make that happen. And then we were just talking about Samuel Johnson. I was thinking, oh, right, that makes sense. He's in your area.
Yeah.
Also doing rent to HMO. So explain to me then, what is rent to rent? And HMO specifically, how does it work? And what would you say some of the things people don't know about the business are?
So in terms of rent to rent, so we focus on a strategy called rent to HMO. Basically, it's where you rent a property out and then you just then basically essentially legally sublet it room by room. So you end up paying, the landlord what they're asking for. And then you basically make your profit on top. And then obviously you've got the other route, which we've got a couple of units through this, which is rent serviced accommodation, which is where you'll rent a property out. And then you'll then rent it on a nightly basis. Yeah.
Your niche though is rent to HMO, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's kind of your big thing. What do you think about? You said legally. That's a really important. Yeah. Some people, I've seen stories, man, of people that do this strategy, but just illegally.
Yeah.
Or they'll rent a house themselves. And it will be like a big 5-bed house, and they'll say, "Oh, I'm going to live here."
Whack it on an AST.
And then they'll just rent it with a normal tenancy agreement, and then they'll sublet the rooms out, and they'll make a killing. Yeah. But it's not legal. You're breaking so many rules and regulations. You're breaking the subletting rule, and initially breaking the AST contract. You're also breaking the HMO council's rules because there's no fire doors. It's not regulated to be a HMO. How difficult is it doing it right? Is it really, really tough?
For us, I feel like as soon as you get the training, you can kind of just work off the back of that. It's not that difficult once you know the strategy to do it. For us right now, the next stage, we're actually putting a HMO license on a property. So this is kind of like a new challenge for us. And we're going through all the regulations, your fire doors, your gas safety certificates. But as long as you just secure a rent to rent and you get it on a lease management agreement, you'll be good to go.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that, really, isn't it? It's just the difference in just changing contracts.
Right.
Don't use an AST, use a lease agreement.
And make sure the landlord gives you his consent.
Yeah.
You don't, and the thing is, you don't need to try and do it behind the landlord's back because the landlord don't care. If the landlord's getting the money that the landlord wants, it's like, all right, I haven't got the time or the inclination to go and try and run it room by room. But if you want to do that, just give me my £1,000 a month. Thank you very much. And I'll be good to go. Give us a case study then of like an example of one of your properties, the rent you pay to the landlord, the rent you get, and also how much do you make across the whole portfolio that you've got?
Okay, so I'll start off with an example. This is probably our best HMO we've got. So this is a rent HMO in Nottingham. It's an 8-bed. We rent it out room by room at £650 a room. We've got one ensuite and that's out at £750.
It's just got a toilet in it. That's the only difference.
Yeah.
And it's an extra £100. It's not
Oh yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, and then we pay the rent to that landlord's £2,770, I believe.
Okay, so it's not a small amount to pay.
No. And then bills on top are probably around £500 to £600, but that one profits £2,000 a month.
Does it not scare you committing to pay the landlord's rent, even though you might not be able to rent it out yourself? Like 2,600, that's a full-time salary.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I think at the beginning, when you look at it when you first start, but I think now if you look at the figures on it and it's saying, right, well, this is how much it's going to cost me, but this is how much I'm going to make. So you kind of just got to look at the benefits of that, of paying that lump sum out. If it's going to make money, it makes sense at the end of the day.
How do you work out the demand in an area? So let's say you've seen a property, because people bring me properties all the time. I'm thinking of doing this room by room, and I'm looking at the property. I'm thinking, not only is the property maybe not suitable, but the area is not suitable. Like, you're going to struggle to fill this. And the last thing you want to do is sign a 5-year lease. So what kind of market research do you do on a property to ensure that you're going to get those rooms filled fast at those high rents?
Yes. So the first thing we do, we look at spare room, because that's where the go-to really for rooms to rent. And then we go on Rightmove, and we also ring up HMO management agencies, come in with some bullshit and just say, look, we're getting a HMO. How fast do you reckon you can get it rented out? And how much would you get for the room?
And you say bullshit, but it's actually good market research.
Yeah,
and sometimes I remember one time ringing a HMO management company and I pretended to be a tenant.
Yeah.
Right, so I was just like, I'm looking at renting a room. And they were really good, really efficient, told me how much I'd have to pay. I was like, do you reckon I'd be able to get something for 400? And they're like, oh, not if you want to be close to the centre. You need to pay more. And I'm thinking, oh, that's helpful. And then I ended up taking on I actually bought a property and I thought, I'm going to use them. So I now ring them up and they recognise my numbers. And they're like, were you not looking for a room? And then I said to them, actually, I was mystery shopping.
Yeah.
You passed the test. So thanks. And now they manage a bunch of properties of mine. So you do that kind of level.
Throughout Leicester, Nottingham and Coventry, we've rang pretty much all the agencies and got the insights and kind of the benefits to how they work.
And you can't ring one.
No.
You ring one and they might say, oh, it's shit, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, maybe it's just because they don't like that area. It's a bit far from their office. You've got to ring a few, right? Get a real feel.
We ring them all so we can get the most accurate data we can.
I think now, obviously, that we've done it, when you go into a house within your patch, you just know. You look at the spec, you look at the area, and you'll go, yeah, I can get this for it.
Yeah. You only have to do that kind of thing really once, don't you? And that's one, again, I teach people not to have a property in this town, this town, this town, this town, this town. Like having a patch.
Yeah.
Or at least tapping into someone who's got a patch, partnering with them, or know where you're investing. Because if you just go to, there was a guy, what was his name? Oh, Adam Lowe.
Yeah.
Who got a whole bunch of properties in Burnley.
Bradford, I think.
Bradford.
Bradford.
Bradford, Burnley.
Yeah.
But he didn't know the area at all. He never visited it, never viewed it, and he ended up having to give them back because the figures didn't stack. So I think what you're talking about, doing that level of due diligence is super important.
Oh, yeah, it's key.
Absolutely, and especially for us because we just focus on HMOs. So you've got the tenanting that goes alongside it, which isn't a 5-minute job. But if you've got a property that, is kind of outside your patch that you've taken on, you're going to spend a lot of time travelling, to go in and do all of that.
So $2,000 for that one property, that doesn't make sense. Let me do the math. $650 a room.
Yep, so 650 times 7.
It's actually 2-1 if I'm being specific.
2,100 profit.
Yeah.
All right, let me work this out.
The 8-bed.
8 bed. 650 times 8.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's 5,200.
650 times 7, and then one room's 750 because it's got that toilet in it.
So you're getting about what, $5,500 for the whole property?
Yeah, that's the turnover.
Okay. How much are the bills on it?
About 500-600.
It's quite six.
Just off the top of my head.
So that's 4,900. And then you're paying the landlord how much?
2,700.
2,700, I think.
2,700. So that's leaving you with 2,200.
Yeah, it's about right.
And that's assuming it's fully occupied.
It's fully occupied.
Yeah.
Well, I filled that in a week. All 8 rooms in a week.
Wow.
It was mental.
How are you vetting these tenants? How are you making sure that the tenants are actually going to pay? They're going to be good tenants.
So we take them through the full referencing. So we use the NRLA for that, and then basically send them an application form. They complete it. They reference check them, go through, make sure that we've got the employer confirmation, the previous landlord's details, and they will just go through and check the whole thing,
Credit
and then they'll
check
come
them?
back. Yeah, so make sure they've got no CCJs.
And if they have, guarantor.
Yep, guarantor.
Credit check the guarantor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty belt and braces.
Yeah.
Check.
And for us as well, definitely trust your gut feeling as well. I mean, there's been a couple times where we've had a tenant like come and view, and I'll be having a conversation with him, and he'll turn around and go, "Oh, I can't even get a phone contract." And I'm thinking, you can't get a phone contract, you're not going to get a room here.
Yeah.
So,
or if you've got someone really keen, I'll give you 6 months cash up front for 6 months.
yeah,
I need to move in tomorrow. And it's like,
bit dodgy.
I'd rather, no. I'd rather let's go through the referencing process. To say, the only thing worse than no tenant is a bad tenant.
Oh,
So you've got someone
definitely,
not-
yeah.
And what kind of contracts do you use with these HMO tenants?
So we use like room STs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't want them not paying?
No.
Have you had to evict
no.
anybody yet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you?
no.
Tell me what happened.
We had to do it was in December, we had to do a surrender and settlement agreement with one tenant. Always paid, it was absolutely fine. Never really had a problem with him when he was sober.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we went through the house rules with him and said, look, there's working professionals in this house. It's not a student household.
Was he a student?
No. We only do professionals. We don't do any students.
Right.
We just said to him, look, you can't be in here getting drunk. You got to respect everyone else.
Oh, so he was paying his rent. He was just getting drunk.
Oh yeah, it was
But
paying.
yeah, he was like drinking bottles of vodka at like 10 o'clock in the morning.
Jeez.
He was working full time, but honestly on the weekends. But then what you got to realise is when you've got one bad apple in the house, it brings the whole house down.
Yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
you've got them house rules for a reason, and you might be breaking one, which is getting drunk in the property, but then because he's got drunk in the property, he's broke 5 other rules.
Yeah.
And before you know it, I've got tenants ringing me up saying, what's going on with this guy? So
How do you deal with that? How do you deal with a tenant that's just being disruptive, being a nuisance? I mean, it's a tough one.
I think the first time we kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt because he was first tenant in there.
Do you know what? Sorry, but the first tenant in there, that always happens, man.
Yeah.
Or the tenant with the biggest room.
Oh, he had the biggest
He had
room
the
as
biggest
well.
room.
There
Yeah.
we go. There we go. If they're the first tenant and they've got the biggest room, they think that they own the place.
Yeah.
They just think, oh, you know what? I got the biggest room. I'm the main tenant. I'm the head guy. If I want to drink, I'll drink. I'll do what I want to do. I've found from experience that the people that with the biggest room and the first tenant are often the problem ones.
Well, you've hit it on the head there because he was first and he's got the biggest room.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you've hit the nail on the head.
Yeah. So what did you do with him?
We literally went over. It was quite easy because he was drunk, to be fair. So
Sign this piece of paper. Right.
Yeah.
See you later.
Yeah.
And he was like,
Pretty
oh, getting his stuff.
So we went over and obviously we just laid it out to him and just said, look, we've had this conversation multiple times. You've broke the rules so many times as well. We can't carry on like this. We just said, look, it's nothing against you as a person. So thinking in the back of my mind, when you're sober, you're actually a nice guy. But yeah, we just said, sign here, please.
What did you get him to sign?
Surrender and settlement agreement.
Tell me what that is.
Instead of going down, is it section 3?
Yeah, or the whole court proceedings, which is slow.
And well, the thing for that is if we went down that, then it was going to take him to the 6 months tenancy anyway for it to come through and be completed. So we were looking at options thinking, what can we actually do? Because we want to try and get this guy out. But if we go down like the normal court proceedings, by the time it all comes through, his tenancy is going to be finished anyway. So we came with a surrender and settlement agreement, which was basically a contract that stated that he was willing to surrender his AST for X price. So what we did is we gave him his deposit back and we gave him his December's rent back. And, he was happy
Smart.
with that.
Yeah.
That's called a good commercial decision. And that's the thing, if you've got a bad tenant, you might Google it, what to do with this bad tenant. And they'll be like, oh, serve them this notice, do this. And that might be correct.
Yeah.
But commercially, sometimes it makes sense to just bribe them out, and it's completely legal to do that. And you're protecting your house, you're protecting your other tenants. As you said, Tom, one bad apple. If you've got a HMO, you've got one person in there that's been a pain. Even if they're paying their rent, other people are going to start leaving. Then you're going to bring down the quality of people in the house, and it's just a nightmare.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So he left on good terms?
Yeah, absolutely fine. We gave him 2 weeks, and he just went and found another place, left the room tidy.
I sometimes, what I do as well is I'll not tickle their ego or whatever, but if I've got a tenant that's paying their rent, but they're just being disruptive and annoying everybody, I'll say to them, you need to live in your own apartment.
This
You
is
need
exactly
your own
what we
space.
said.
Exact same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. And that, they're like, you know what? Maybe they're right. So rather than saying, you're a bad egg, you're a bad apple, it's like, look, man, I just think you're probably not cut out really to be an HMO. Nothing personal, nothing against you, but I think you're meant to be in an apartment. I know it's a pain because you've moved in here. Let me help you. How about this? I'll give you your rent back for last month, give you your deposit back, and I'll help you find somewhere. I've got, if you look at these properties, look at these, that's nice, that's nice, that's nice. And then get them to sign it, and then boom, done. Gone. Takes skills, that does.
Yeah. I mean, we had the exact same conversation as him. He was asking us to help him find like a 1-bed apartment.
Yeah, we'll help you. Yeah. We'll do whatever you want, man. Come around my house for coffee and everything. Just get out this house. So how long did that process take?
I think from when we gave him the surrender and settlement, he was out within 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's good.
So
any other horror stories? People not paying rent, evictions?
no.
Yeah, well, we've been really lucky because what we do is when we got someone that's going, yeah, you know what, I really want the room. It's not just about, because you've got to be cautious with these things. It's not about just going, yeah, here you go, mate. Here's the keys. Get yourself in.
Yeah.
You've got to work out different characters that you've got in the house. And, are they going to be a match? That kind of thing. So we've matched our households up really, really well. We've got some they'll go down the pub on a Friday. We've got people that will go to the gym together. They'll go do the shopping with each other. And we've kind of developed like friendship groups within our houses pretty much, which is brilliant because we don't have any problems at all. We've never had any problems with no one paying. Yeah, and other than that one that we've just said with the surrender and settlement agreement, we've had zero issues.
So $2,000 from one house, that's obviously very good going.
Yeah.
How much on average are you making per HMO?
Well, we don't take anything on if it's anything less than $1,000, just dependent on room size. But dependent on HMOs, last month we made $9,000 from rent to rent.
Clean profit.
Clean profit, yeah.
Damn.
Turned over like 40 grand.
40 grand in a month
Yeah.
with $9,000 profit.
Well, an extra $6,000 from deal sourcing as well.
So 15 grand profit last month.
$15,000.
Total
Yeah.
15 grand profit.
That's serious good going. And that's the thing. Some people will say, oh, rent to rent, it's like another job. And it's like, well, maybe. But what job can you make 15 grand profit in a month?
Exactly.
Very few. You got to
Exactly.
be a brain surgeon that spent 120 grand going to university for 5 years, then get further qualifications to make that kind of money. And you're able to make that kind of money and have a business that you can scale, that you can systemize, that you can make not completely passive, but that you can make passive to some extent.
Well, I mean, there's no cap to your earnings, so that's probably a driving factor for us as well. So I know we spoke about earlier, we want to take on 15 more HMOs in the summer, and we want to
overtake Samuel.
Yeah, we want to overtake
Samuel's
Samuel.
watching this. They're coming for you guys.
Well, the thing is though, when with our projecting, I mean, we reserved like 6 already for the summer HMO wise, and then we want to have a total of 15. So looking at it at the end of, the end of like October, November, we are going to be hitting like 30 grand from the rent to rents. That's big profit.
Yeah.
Like it's just crazy. Like you just can't achieve that in a normal role. And because we both knew at such a young age that we wanted to do something with our life, it's such a win. It's such a win.
How old are you guys now?
So I'm 22.
I'm 23.
So you're young guys.
Yeah.
Again, like making that kind of money at the age that you are. Talk to me about getting the properties then. So we've talked about managing them. So I guess the key takeaways from that are do your market research properly.
Yeah.
Reference the tenants properly and be super proactive with problems. And that's another thing that actually a lot of people that start in business, there's a problem and they'll put their head in the sand. You just can't do that if you're running property, especially if you're running a property business like you are. If there's a problem, you've got to confront it head on, nip it in the bud and become a bigger person. So there's that side of things. But then there's also, how are you finding these properties? Where are you finding them? What are you saying? What contracts are you using?
So all our properties, bar 2, have all come from letting agents. So for us, why wouldn't you go to a letting agent? They're the ones who have all the properties at the end of the day. But for us, we go to like your student HMO agencies. We say, look, we're not trying to tap into your market. We're not trying to steal any students. All we want to do is let out the properties that you can't. And we've got our guys that we work with and we just put them in there. So
you'll find in letting agents who've got old, tired, big student HMOs that have already got licenses, they've already got planning permission, and you're just converting them from an old, shabby student house to a boutique professional house. Yeah,
exactly that.
It's a great business model, man. Very similar to Samuel Johnson.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the benefit of that as well, we know throughout the Midlands, there's brand new purpose-built developments literally going up as we speak. So these developments have got 5G pitches, cinema rooms, gyms, cafes, all on site. So in the next couple of years, all of these new students are going to be going to them. What are these landlords going to be able to do with their HMOs? Nothing.
Where did you get that business model idea? I know you're on the academy, and obviously we teach a lot of different strategies. Was there anybody that like inspired you particularly, or was there someone that you saw and you?
To be honest, I feel like HMOs caught my eye from the rent to rent £1 crash course that I went to. That caught my eye off the get go, and I think we've kind of just stemmed off that. Like for us, we're not a massive fan of the service accommodation market. I feel like everyone's doing it, and not enough people are doing HMOs. And I feel like HMOs are a lot more stable. And you can project your earnings as well.
You can.
Yeah.
Service accommodation is a little bit of guesswork.
Yeah.
There are things that we use. You know, there are softwares that we have and property intel and all that where you can work out market research. But you are correct. With HMO, it is more stable because you're putting people on long leases.
And you know what you're getting every month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's pros and cons.
Yeah,
And there's pros and cons to every strategy.
There is to everything, every single one of them.
Every strategy. But what you got to do is you got to find something that works for you. And I guess, as you said, you just straight off the back of the crash course knew that.
HMOs was the one.
And where do you guys live?
Leicester.
So you're kind of in your area, East Midlands sort of,
Yeah.
sort of area. So you're going to letting agents. Are you ringing them or are you going in? And what are you saying?
At the beginning, we were pretty much going in, getting our face there. But now what we've done is we have built them relationships up with the agents that we work with. So we've got it to a stage now where if something comes up that they think is going to be, handy for what we do, they'll just send it straight over to us. So it's kind of made the process so much easier by building that relationship up. We find nowadays that we don't have to constantly be on the phone because when they do come up, most of them are at like first refusal. So they'll just send straight over to us.
Getting your foot in the door is the hardest bit.
Yeah.
It's crucial.
And those first few weeks where you're cold, you ain't got no experience. And sometimes haven't got no money.
Yeah.
And you're going into letting agents and sometimes you can get torn apart.
Oh, yeah.
You can get torn apart. Did you have any horror story experiences or just like awkward rejections at the early days that you can remember?
Yeah, so my first viewing I went on was like a 4-bed that I was going to turn into a HMO. And she just started reeling some questions off to me and I did not have a clue what to say.
What she was saying? What kind of
things? It's quite stupid now because she just turned around. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to manage it. I'll do all the maintenance. She goes, well, how are you going to do that? We manage it. And I'm just like, oh yeah, good point.
Yeah.
When realistically, I should have just turned around and went, no, don't worry. You'll still manage us. We'll manage the property.
Right.
You'll take your cut. We'll get our slice of the pie and everyone's a winner.
Yeah. Bro, that is such a schoolboy error.
Yeah.
And it is, at the crash courses, you'll know this, I role play sometimes with people. So someone will be like, oh, I need help finding a rent to rent. And I'm like, bro, if you found a rent to rent opportunity tomorrow, you won't be able to close it. Because you wouldn't know what to say. Like, yes, I would. Stand up, give him a microphone. Let's role play. I'll be the letting agent. And you say what you'd say. And they often say that. We'll manage it. We'll take care of everything. And I'm thinking, you can't say that to a letting agent. If you say to a letting agent, oh, can you put us in touch with the landlord? Because we've got a great service for the landlord and we'll take care of all the management. What? They're a letting agent.
Yeah.
You're basically saying, I want to do what you're doing slightly differently. Like, they ain't going to give you the deal.
No, not at all. Not at all. But I think at the beginning you do make them mistakes, but you do learn from them. It was like Kyle was chief negotiator.
Oh yeah, in one letting agency.
What happened?
So we sat down. He said, right, we've got 2 HMOs, and this was before we had any HMOs, so right at the beginning. And sat down. We worked all the figures out. So we, got the notepad under the table and stuff to what we're working with and we're negotiating. And before Kyle could put forward our offer, he decided to go, this is our lowball offer. Whacked it forward. I'm
just
like,
come out of a training course and been told, first go with the lowball offer. Didn't realise that you don't tell them it's a lowball offer. You big dummy.
I know.
Thinking, oh no, he's not just said that. So yeah, we swiftly left.
Oh, mate. That's part of the experience.
Part of the experience. Well, I mean, without that, I wouldn't have got to where I am today.
I remember when I first went into an agency, I was only 17, and I was just trying to get 20% below market value deals, and then finance them or package and sell them. And I'd rehearsed the script that I was going to say, which is, basically, I'm looking for motivated sellers, buy cash, 20% below market value. But I was so nervous because I didn't have any cash, and I'd never done anything before. I walked into the agency, and my mouth just dried up, literally dried up. So I was like, and I couldn't get my words out. And I still, when I think back to that time, and they were really nice to me. Like, are you okay? Probably just thought, some kid, what the heck? But I still look back and I go red thinking about it because it's so awkward. But I think if you're not prepared to have a few awkward phone calls and to get a little bit of rejection. If you're going to protect yourself, no, I don't want that. I just want to be comfortable. Then you're just going to have a comfortable life forever and be in a job and never be your own boss, never be rich, because you've got to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Definitely.
Absolutely right. There's no reward without risk at the end of the day, is there?
Yeah.
You've got to be able to take that jump. And, it's so easy for people to look in on this space and going, you be careful what you're doing, don't run before you can walk kind of thing. And that's just common behavior between everyone, really.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, you've got to be taking them risks if you want that lifestyle. If you don't want that lifestyle, then 100%. Stay in your 9 to 5. Just keep grinding, do what you got to do.
Another thing is, man, the amount of people, and you guys know this, but I've probably told you before, but they're like, I really want to make money. I want to rent to rent. And then I've done financial freedom challenges with people where I've literally gone out and helped find them a rent to rent. And then as soon as they then start thinking, oh, geez, $1,000 a month that I've got to commit to paying. Oh, the fear kicks in. Actually, I don't want to rent to rent. But you've got to let money flow through you. You've got to take action. You've got to take risk. I think doing it with the right training is important, because I think people going out off the back of reading one book or watching a YouTube video getting excited, you might end up messing up and then hurting the industry. One of the reasons why letting agents don't like people doing rent to rents is because so many schoolboys have come in and messed up, and now they've ruined the industry by doing it wrong. So that's why you guys have got trained properly, have gone out there. Yeah, you've made some mistakes, but at least you can back up what you're saying.
Oh yeah, for sure. We get it so often. You go in and people are like, "Oh, here's a company let." Well, yes, it is. But I think as soon as they start speaking to you and understanding, they know the difference between someone that's been educated and someone that's just watched a YouTube video. Because as soon as they start throwing stuff at you and you end up having that conversation with them and just, appealing to their better nature and just getting on with the person, it just makes a massive difference, really.
Yeah, it's like some people, if your knowledge is like tracing paper thin, they'll just...
Yeah.
Whereas if you've actually got it at depth and you know the crack.
And they know. Yeah, they know as well. It's like they can sense it.
So what do you say? When you're starting out, you've got the knowledge, you've been trained by the best. Go in, and then they start saying things like, have you done this before? Have you got any other properties? Have you got references? And you're thinking, well, no, I haven't. Like, what do you say? How do you be completely authentic and honest, but at the same time, build trust?
So for me, I think we just went in and said, Look, we work with loads of local companies in the area, house their guys directly. We can provide referencing. We can also provide a guarantor if that would provide some peace of mind for the landlord.
Right. What's a guarantor?
A guarantor is someone that can guarantee the rent if you don't pay it.
Right. And how would you have found did you need a guarantor?
We did for that 8-bed we spoke about earlier.
Did you?
Yeah.
Who was a guarantor?
My old man.
Nice.
Yeah.
Legend.
I have to pay him £200 a month for it though.
Good. That's business.
Yeah.
That's business. People say, oh, your parents helped you. No, I did business with my parents. And the only reason that they believed in me and backed me was because, number one, they were getting paid. They didn't give me money. I gave them money.
Yeah.
And number two was because I spent 12G educating myself. Yeah. And they could see that I knew what I was talking about. And yeah, I'm going to tap into people that I know. No one's self-made.
Exactly.
So you got guarantor potentially. Another thing that you went in with, which is sick, is a story.
Definitely, yeah.
So you're not just going and saying, can I do a rent to rent? Can I rent one of these properties and then rent it out for a higher amount? You spoke to letting agents beforehand. You've spoke to contractors. You've got a bit of okay, these are the people that... Now you're going in, hey, I've got these connections, looking to rent a property that you can't rent.
Yeah.
Old student property, and I want to refurbish it. Give guaranteed rent. You can continue managing it. You're going to get paid. Everyone's going to get paid. What you got for me?
Yeah.
With confidence.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And I think now, just the fact we've done it so much and we've actually got properties on the books, the confidence and the realness just flows through the phone.
But now it's easy for you guys.
Yeah.
Now it's like we've got 40, how many units?
43.
43 units. I've got loads of references. I can connect you to all these other agents. And when you tap into an agent, I bet you're getting the same deals from the same agents over and over.
I don't... Well,
No,
not always.
To be fair, like I said, we've got an agent that we work with in Nottingham, and she's just gave us a flat, so we're going to either sell that as an SA or we could potentially take it on herself.
Yeah.
And then she's turned around and she's gone, well, I've got 6 8-beds if you want them as well.
And then she's got a 10-bed, and she's got another 10-bed.
But that's my point, though.
All in the same block.
My point is, if you get in with an agent, if you go to a landlord direct, and the landlord only owns one house, well, you have to do all that work,
again,
sell the landlord, get one deal. Whereas if you can sell an agency, then you've got a river of deals.
Yep.
Yeah, so she's literally pretty much gave us all of them. So we're gonna be taking on obviously this year, some's for 2025. So we've started reserving for next year as well for HMO wise. But yeah, she's just got loads that they're giving us. But we've got multiple different agents in different areas that end up sending us like properties. But I think it's about having that network of people. You know, for us, we wouldn't want to just work with one agent because it's not a very secure business model. If something went south.
I understand that. I understand. How much time do you spend approaching new agents now, or are they kind of coming to you?
The only new agents we really go to are like out of our patch now. So we've kind of covered our patch.
You've got your agency.
We've got our agency.
They know you, like you, trust you.
It's like for us now, come the summertime and the end of the academic year, all it's going to take is, it's Kyle here. What you got for me? They already know what we can do. They've worked with us in the past. We've built that trust. We've got that relationship. So it's kind of just waiting for...
When was the moment when you realised, oh my gosh, this is really, really successful and we're killing it?
Probably towards the back end of last year, to be honest. I think one thing that me and Tom don't do enough of is appreciate the work that we've actually done and appreciate what we've built. And I think we had a couple beers one night and we just sat back and just looked back at everything, was like, this is just crazy. This is
kind of just sunk in because we just criticise everything, really. Right, well, this went wrong. Why did that go wrong? And we're just trying to fix, which is great. But I think we never appreciate, you know, where we've come in such a short space of time.
Like, how long ago was it when we first met at that crash course? Was it like 18 months?
Well, last December.
January for me, so just 13 months.
Just over a year?
Just over a year, yeah.
And you've got up to speed, got trained, got all these properties, making 15 grand a month, rent to rent, deal selling. It is remarkable, really, what you've done. And on top of that, you also have been doing the boxing and stuff with me.
Yeah, did the boxing.
Tell me about that, what happened?
Yeah, so I fought on your undercard against Rob Moore, obviously the Samuel Leeds team, coming in clutch, winning something like 8-3, wasn't it, overall?
We won most of those.
Yeah, we won most of the fights.
Did. We're fighting a bunch of pussies, of course we won.
Yeah, of course, standard really. So yeah, I fought my guy, absolutely smoked him. No doubt about it, to be honest.
And we were sparring a lot
we were sparring, yeah. I think the whole build up to that was great as well. I mean, it brought a load of academy members together. We've kind of got like that little OG boxing group.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. Everyone just going down sparring and was going for coffee afterwards. And then the whole lead up, the night out afterwards. How
important is community, environment, being around? Because you've made so many friends with other people that are doing the same thing you're doing or slightly different. But how important is that network and circle of friendship of people around you?
It's crucial. It's absolutely crucial because we go on about this so much, but you are a sum of the 5 people you hang around with. That's just facts. So I think being in the right environment, around the right people, like-minded, that are hungry for success and doing a similar thing that you do is what you've got to be in pretty much all the time. Because if that's who you're hanging around with, then you know it's only going to be upwards from there essentially. So it's absolutely crucial.
I think so. I think that if you're hanging around winners, it becomes normal to win. To the point where you guys, like you said a minute ago, you don't even realise how much you're winning.
Yeah.
Because you're around other people who, like Samuel Johnson, who's got more units than you.
Like we see quite a lot of Mitch and Gav, the property winners. Them two are just smashing it out of the park.
Yeah.
And then for us, they're like making 80 grand a month or something ridiculous, and we're doing 15. It's like, right, how can we get to our next step now?
But that's good because you've got that friendly competition and you've got that chance to level up. Do you know what I mean? So it's like you could be looking at someone that you hang around with and be going, shit, man, they're making a fortune. But it's like,
did they join the academy at the same time as you?
No, I think they were quite before.
They were proper nervous. I remember when they first joined the academy, they were sat on my table at the academy dinner. They just enrolled that day, and they were like, what happens now? And then within like 6 months, when winners on a Wednesday, now absolutely crushing it.
Yeah, killing it.
And being around that is important.
It's massively
super important.
What's been some of the biggest challenges that you've had to overcome?
I think for us, it's probably going to be the financials. So at the beginning,
how much money did you have when you started out?
Fuck all.
Nothing.
No.
Literally nothing.
I mean, we
were paying each other's bills throughout.
At some point. Yeah.
Skint.
Yeah. Super broke. Definitely. I mean, I got a loan out to do the academy, and then I think I had about £1,000, if that maybe.
Left from the loan?
No, not even from the loan, just in my bank. But then like car insurance and stuff like that all going out, bills, expenses.
Were you not sick when you joined the academy? You got a loan out and you were now all in debt?
To be honest, I was more excited.
What about you, Tom?
Mine's quite funny actually because I come out right, and I did it a bit backwards. I did it the £1 course. I went from the £1 straight to the academy.
Yeah, which we don't normally allow. You know, they must have liked you.
I remember coming speaking to you, and because Kyle had already joined, so I kind of already knew.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then obviously I kind of like sat down with you and said, "Look, this is a situation. You know, Kyle's, I want to be on it. I want to be cracking on." And you were like, "Right, okay, yeah, go on then, let's do it." And I went out and I rang my old man, and I remember exactly where it was. You know where like the academy room is at the bottom. You go down the stairs at the back of the bar. I rang down there. And I said, Dad, I need 10 grand now. It's non-negotiable. And I was just battling with him, and I was thinking, right, who can I ring? Who can I ring? I need this money. And I ended up just getting a loan out, and then got it through. The same day. Yeah.
And people will say like, oh, that's so risky, but it's like, it's no different from going to university.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. You know, people will sign up to university and spend 50 grand on it, and you know, well done, so proud you've gone to university. But someone spends 10 grand on a course that's going to change their life.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and that's another thing.
Careful.
It's not even a course. It's a mentorship. It's a community. It's a network and training. So it's madness. But I guess
the way you got to look at it as well on the flip side to that is, yeah, you've spent that money, but look at the money that you're making now. Off the back of that, how much money are you making off your 50 grand university course?
Not a fact, like you might have a job, pays you 30, 40 grand a year, and now you're trapped, because you guys have got a business, 15 grand a month profit, boom.
We're looking to scale and kind of 2x this year as well. So
you never had any like hindering thoughts? You never joined the academy and then thought, oh my gosh, why did I do that?
No, not at all, to be honest. I knew from the initial training, that the 2 grand training, I knew that this was the way forward. I knew that the academy was the way to do it, because you had the network, the environment, all the mentorship, all the courses.
And it's got better as well since you joined.
Yes.
We've improved it a lot. Like PIMS, Rate My Deal,
Well, that was another big thing for me, because I really struggled, because I was doing all the training after the £1 course, because obviously you get the couple courses. I was taking action while I was doing it. I was phoning, I was setting up the company, I was trying to get compliant, and then literally like 2 days before the actual training, I had Property Mark ring me up and turn around and go, no, because you've got no experience, you've never been in property, you've never been in lettings. So they didn't give me anything. And then I think it was Ibby that was signing me up, and he was like, yeah, don't worry about it, we've got PIMS. It hasn't been announced yet. And I was like, oh, there we go then. So
boom.
Yeah,
problem solved. That's saved £1,500.
There you go. Yeah,
a load of messing around, waiting 3 years to become an experienced property investor.
Because the thing is though, compliance adds up. It's so expensive. Obviously, we've not really announced this yet, but we're in the process. Well, it's actually done. We're going to be going live on our letting agency in the next few weeks. So we've created.
And that does come with a different level of compliance.
Jesus Christ,
yeah, it does.
Yeah, we've had to do. We're in the process. We've got to do a BTEC.
Yeah.
To like back to college kind of thing. Yeah, 120 hours. It's like. Yeah, the level of compliance that comes with that, it's just a different kettle of fish.
It is.
You don't really need that if you're just doing your normal property investment, your rent-to-rent strategy.
You do need a certain level of compliance, but it's nothing that we can't cover on the academy.
No,
you need the right contracts, you need to be covered, you need some sort of mediation. The problem is with a lot of people is that are trying to do rent-to-rent, for example, or deal sourcing, is they get so wrapped up in all the compliance. I need this and this and this and this and this. They never actually make any money. They never actually get started.
Yeah.
You know, the amount of money and months or even years it can take. So that's why on the academy we've got the things that we've got in place to get people started. But then, if you want to set your own letting agency, you want to become an estate agent, then of course there's different levels. But that's exciting though.
You know what? Really looking forward to it so far. We've got quite a few nibbles from it already. We've joined Rightmove, we've pushed marketing through that for like landlord acquisition and stuff.
That's huge.
What we're going to try and do with the landlord side of things as well is when they come to us, and at the minute, we are getting them come through as well, which is great. But if the property is going to work, we'd ideally like to try and convert it towards a company let, then sell the deal on to an investor. And then we get in management as well from the landlord for the property. So we're going to try and look at different options that we can go with it in terms of getting double bubble for it.
True entrepreneurs.
That's it.
True entrepreneurs. What is it that drives you and gets you out of bed in the morning? What's the strongest reason why?
I'm just afraid of being average, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't want to be average. Don't want to live an average life. I think it's boring.
I'm scared of going broke again.
Scared of going broke.
Interesting.
To be honest, just making a difference, breaking that family curse.
I don't think you guys will go broke again. When you say family curse, what do you mean?
Well, my dad was so against it all. He was like a proper football lad, go down the pub, drink, 9 to 5, that's it. I think that's what he kind of expected from me. No one in my family's ever made it big, and I just feel like I'm the person that's going to change that.
Yeah.
So,
well, you are.
Likewise, we come from similar backgrounds, to be fair, just typical working class, humble family, really. So yeah, it'd be kind of nice to kind of get them out of that.
Yeah, that's nice. If you're not do it for you, do it for your family at least.
That's it. So that's kind of what drives us to get up in the morning.
Yeah.
To, make tomorrow better than it was today, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And just make a difference and just make a shitload of money, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And money's a good thing. Money can make things happen. Like I was saying to you earlier off camera, I've moved 46 people down to this village, mostly of my family members. better life, not just for me, but also for my family.
But the things though, it makes you feel good as well. Makes you feel better.
Exactly. What would be your final piece of advice to people watching this that maybe wanting to get into rent-to-rent, like you guys?
Yeah.
Maybe they got nothing. You know, they've got no money, got no experience, can't even become compliant, but they're wanting to take those first steps to get into the game.
So for me, it's definitely just take the jump, take the leap.
Yeah.
There ain't no reward without risk. 100% you've got to believe in yourself the whole way, because it does get difficult. Whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right.
Yeah.
So self-belief is massive, and then get educated as well.
Yeah. What yourself, bro?
I'd kind of say just do it. You know, it's not easy, but then again, when is having a business easy? You know, you're going to face challenges and difficulties along the way. But I think as long as you've got that right education, you're in that right networks, if you do need anything, you can ask and you can get the correct advice, then, you know, you should have a much better chance, you will have a much better chance of succeeding than just your average person at the end of the day. But I think the big thing for me is just take massive action.
Yeah.
Literally just take massive action.
Don't be a pussy.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're sitting at home thinking, oh, well, I've got no deals, when you look at it and it's like, well, and you sit down with them, well, what have you been doing? Well, I made 5 phone calls. Well, there you go then. You don't need to be...
You've got to take massive action.
Got to be taking massive action.
So action, network, knowledge.
Yeah.
3 biggest things. And, you know, I wouldn't even worry too much about capital, because, you know, that could be something that people will go, oh, yeah, well, I've not got any money. We don't need any money. Like, for us, if we've just said, you know, we were broke, couldn't even pay my own bills, and vice versa with Kyle. But we just got into it, started selling deals for $3,000 a deal. You've then got your capital there to shove straight into your rent-to-rent. Your rent-to-rent's going to make you more money. As soon as your rent-to-rent's built up, you use that money to enter BRR, and then obviously it just goes up and up and up, and you just kind of use one strategy to help the other succeed and grow. If that makes sense.
I think rich people love to tell poor people you need money, because it stops them doing it.
Yeah.
Just work for me. Have a job. Because, to do this, you need a lot of money. And then poor people love it as well, because it's a good excuse. I ain't got any money. Oh, it's all right for you. You're rich. I ain't got any money. Actually, you don't need money, as you said. You need network, knowledge, and skills.
That's it.
And a huge amount of courage to step out there, take action, which you guys have got in bags.
We've done some risky shit along the lines, like risky.
Yeah.
We got two properties. So our first HMO, the one that makes 2,100 profit. And then we got an SA, which is a bungalow, which is absolutely stunning. And we literally used every single penny that we had left in the bank in terms of capital to get them 2 properties. And then we kind of looked at it and thought, well, if the rest of our portfolio, you know, a tenant doesn't pay rent or one of these flops, fucked pretty much.
Yeah.
But, you know, with that in mind, we've always kind of had a just do it attitude.
I don't think you would have been that.
Make sure.
If
No,
you didn't have them,
absolutely.
even if one of the properties was empty or boiler broke,
We'd have found a way.
You just sold a deal, made $3,000.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You've taken big risks, but it's different to take a risk when it's an educated risk.
Yeah.
And when you, as you mentioned, you took risks before in crypto and stuff. Maybe when you didn't really know what you were doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you take risks when you don't know what you're doing in an industry you don't know, then it's really risky. But when you know what you're doing and you know that it's a risk, and you go, what's the best case? What's the worst case? What's the likely case? Okay, what would I advise my best friend to do? All right, cool. Let's just do it. Do what you guys have done.
Yeah.
And I know this is just the beginning for you guys.
100%.
You know, very young, very successful, building something big. Mayfair Executive Estates, big up. And thanks for coming on Winners on a Wednesday. I know you don't really get anything in return, really, apart from a little bit maybe of brand exposure, but you know, you come on because you genuinely want to inspire and help other people.
Yeah.
A lot of people that are successful think, I'm not going to tell anyone what I'm doing because I don't want them to come to my patch, I don't want them to compete with me. I'm just going to quietly become successful. But what was it that made you want to come on Winners Wednesday and share your story?
Yeah, just to kind of show everyone from our hometown and that as well. We've all come from the same environment. We've had the same opportunities. You can do it. As long as you set your mind to it and you take action, you can definitely achieve what other people think are unachievable. And then just to share our story, hopefully inspire some people, and then just to get our face out there a bit as well.
Well, I respect you coming on. I respect what you've done, and it's been great working with you both, and I'm looking forward to the future.
Yeah, thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, cheers for having us, Samuel.
Respect, man. I hope you enjoyed the video, but have you spent one day with me yet at the Property Investors Crash Course? If not, what are you waiting for? Link in bio, tickets are just £1. And if you can't make a physical crash course, we now have a virtual crash course too. I'll see you there.